Hello everybody, today I thought I would show you one of my lesser encounters when I went to the tip. I went today dropping off some old rubbish, some old electrical components that I'd removed from somewhere and just the usual stuff that I go to get shut off, and I saw this in the used appliances section. It also came with this chucked next to it, which is the shampoo recovery bucket. And I'm not going to be keeping this because the rubber seal that connects it to the motor and stops water passing through the motor is missing. So this part is fit for the bin. I've got plenty of these buckets. I don't need another one anyway, even if you could buy that as a spare. It's just not worth keeping. I wonder if the little... Oh no, the little ball can't come out. Ew. Or is something missing? I think something is missing. I'll have to have a look. Anyway, I just tipped it upside down and these things have come out, the clips, and I'll keep them. They're always handy. They always come in useful, those clips. Let's have a look at the good bucket. If I take, yeah, the rubber seal. The rubber seal is missing off that one, so I won't be keeping it. Yeah, so that's to go in the bin, bar the clips. Just put that back up there for now. Yeah, and this machine is scrap, basically, so well, that's why I thought I'd do the video, to show you, because lots of the times I only record the interesting things that I save from the tip. So I thought I'd do a video, something that, well, actually, to me, it is quite interesting. It's vintage Vax from 1992. Well, actually, everyone refers to them as the Vax Power 4000. There's actually two variants. There's the 2300 and the 2301, which is slightly later. The 2300, which is my good one of these, came out in 1992, and the 2301 I think came out in 1994 and ended production in 1995. And you can tell a 2300 apart from a 2301 because the 2300 has a 3-core cable, live, neutral and earth. The pump water outlet hose thing here is a lot thicker. It sticks out about that much. It's a big metal clip-on thing. The variable speed knob is black, and the switches on the old one are rocker switches. On these, they're push buttons. You push it on and you push it off, just as you do with the shampoo. However, on both models, the switches are illuminated. Whether they're rocker switches or push buttons, they are still illuminated. So I'm going to leave that in the on position because I'm going to show it you running. Well, I'm hopefully going to show you it running. I've not turned it on yet, but I have put a cable on because when I got it in the skip, the motor unit was separate from this. Basically, the motor unit was chucked in. Then the bucket, which actually has nothing wrong with it, there's no cracks on the bucket, so I'll keep that part. And I'll keep the motor cone filter unit thing as well. That's all right with a clean up. The cone filter unit was on top of the recovery bucket. That was in the skip with the motor unit next to it, and then the shampoo tank, clean water tank next to that. So basically there were 3 parts to it lined up in the skip. Yeah, so the reason I say this is scrap, well, I don't know if it runs. Even if it does run, it will be scrap. It's too far gone, unfortunately. Basically, it's cracked. What happens with these old Vaxes is they do go brittle. The plastic goes brittle. So as you can see, the whole back is... Actually, the whole back isn't missing. I lied. I took the back part off. This part goes in here. But I took that off so I could put a new cable on it, because I want to see if it runs, which we will find out on this video. Whether it runs or whether it doesn't run, it's scrap. I just wanted to see if it runs to know if I can save the motor, because I'll keep the motor as a spare part. Yeah, and there's another difference. the 2301, which is the later one, has that sticker on. 2300 doesn't. Anyway, you can see there the plastic is cracked in several places along there. I don't know whether the builders use this. It might have been used for DIY by the paint spots on, as these usually are. There's a bit of glue on there, but that's not actually gluing anything. That's just been spilled. And this usually cracks. Although, here's a good part. When you push down, it does move. But they usually crack when they fall over. As people yank these along and they go from floor to floor, like you can see in between my mat and rug there, when people push them, when they fall, it can crack the plastic depending on where they fall. I'll give you a demonstration of this now. Whether it'll crack it or not is another matter, but so basically when people tug these along carefree, as they do, the machine topples like that and it cracks the plastic. Whether it has done. Oh, it has, it worked. It always does it on old faxes like this. Knock that computer over, not that they want it, that's probably the next thing go the tip. So as you can see, that is what happens, you see. And this part has just snapped off and come from there. And that's what happens. So throughout this machine's life, it's probably been knocked over, which is completely fine, and it's not had a problem with. It's a vacuum cleaner. It's been, you know, it's meant to be used, which it has been. Obviously, people aren't as careful as they should be. But it's been knocked over, no problem, because the plastic is young and solid and durable. And then as the plastics get older and they go brittle, when it knocks over, it doesn't bounce back up like it used to, as you've just seen then. So that is an example of what happens. So you've just seen me do that there on purpose to show you, but you can imagine with it being tugged along, carpet's hard floor to carpet, going up little steps, the amount of times it's fallen over. Each one of these snaps, apart from the one I've just done there, represents a time it's fallen over. Well, actually, that one included because I knocked it over. So hopefully that's give you some demonstration as to why they end up like they do. Yeah, so it all depends on the age of the machine really, but these plastics do go brittle after a while. That's just snapped off, or has it? Or no, that was like that before. That should be like that. If that works, I'll keep the variable speed. So what we'll do is we'll give it a test run now, because if the motor works, I'll test the motor and the pump, and not because I want to see if I can save the machine. I want to test it because if they work, I'll keep the motor and the pump as spare parts. I think I'll turn it on using a screwdriver because I don't really fancy with all that exposed. And there's a crack in the rubber, just don't fancy pressing that switch with my finger. Anyway, so what we'll do, as I said, this is a 2301, there's the rating plate, is we'll take it outside, plug it in and switch it on. I've just put this cord off it from another scrap Vax, not a 3-in-1, it was a Vax Performance 10 pet actually. This cord came off, so when I get vacuums that go to scrap, I chop the cord off because they're always handy to have. The amount of times people come to me, especially with uprights, and they say, I ran over the cord and there's a nick in it. Anyway, or a cut, or I've chopped it completely in two. I've seen in some more horrific incidents. So what we'll do is we'll put it on the lowest of the low, the variable power, as I always do with vacuums with variable power from the tip, because that way if they blow up, hopefully they'll blow up quieter than they would on full blast. So, actually it's switched on the machine, so I won't need to press the button with a screwdriver. Let's plug it in, switch it on, see what happens. Ooh, it works. Obviously, like I said, I won't be trying to save this machine, I'll be scrapping it for parts, but obviously that's one more part now, the motor. Now I know it works. See if the variable suction works. It probably will because I put it on low and it went. It's got excellent suction, which these old Vaxes have, but that is partly due to the fact there's no bag or filters in it, so it will be coming straight from the motor, the suction, so it will be good. Let's test if the pump works, because that's another part that's good to sell or keep for another machine. So I'll press the pump button and hopefully the pump should start. You'll hear it clicking. Right. Okay. Well, that works, which is very good indeed. So what we will do is we'll have it all apart now for scrap. Now I know it works. I just thought I'd do this video to show you that not everything I get from the tip is savable and pristine, because lots of the time I think it just looks like I live in fairyland. I do videos of going the tip and I come back with loads of wonderful things that I can sell and keep, and it's not always the reality. As much as I like it when that happens, lots of the time I do come away with things like this which are fit for scrap, and sometimes I come away with nothing at all. Yeah, so I want the recovery bucket and the filter unit. I'll be keeping them. We can keep the variable speed. We can't keep the plastic casing that's part of it because it's all snapped to bits, but we can take the spade connectors off the circuit board. You can see the little thingy moving as I turn it there, little white dot. So we can keep the circuit board because that's obviously good and works. That is slightly different though to the earlier 2300 model, but I'm sure it'll be interchangeable. Not that I need one, but works fine on mine. Both the switches are good. We'll be keeping the motor, now we know the motor works, and we'll also be keeping the pump, now we know the pump works. And apart from that, really, there's nothing else, I think, apart from the few little clips that were in there. There's no reason to keep this because the rubber gasket thing's missing from there. Tell you what we will keep, just for a laugh. Let's take out the ping pong ball, because it literally is a ping pong ball, and I've seen online parts stores selling these as a back spare part for ridiculous amounts of money, like £7. And it's not, they say, you know, genuine Vax float valve. Well, it's hardly a float valve. It literally is an old ping pong ball. So, you know, you can buy probably in Poundland 12 ping pong balls for £1, and then you've got 12 Vax float valves. All it does is go in there. When the dirty water level rises too high, the ball rises like that and cuts off suction. There we go. So I'll have that, whether it's to play ping pong with one of my younger cousins, or whether it's just to use as a Vax float valve, I don't know. I don't really care. We'll just put it there for now. Yeah, and I've got loads of alarm stuff lately that needs to do some videos on. Bell boxes everywhere. But I keep dropping things and it keeps hitting the bell and it keeps dinging every time I put something down like that, and it dings the bells. Anyway, see, this one I found for all the alarm people. That's quite a higher pitch compared to of the Friedland bell. Anyway, nothing to do with hoovers or vacuum cleaners, I should say. So there we go, a scrap Vax Power 4000. So this part, bar the clips, because we want the clips, we like clips. This bucket can go back to the tip, along with probably a few parts out of this. And I'll keep the electronic components like the motor pump, switches and variable speed thing like I just said, as well as the recovery bucket and comb filter. So thank you for watching this video on what was I going to say, on this scrap Vax Power 4000. By the way, if there's anything to sell, any vacuum cleaner parts to sell, or any scrap parts from this, they will appear on my eBay account. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye for now.